There's several different ways to shop for car insurance, and today we're going to go over what is the process of getting car insurance and how can we make it simple and more affordable for those that are new to getting car insurance. The first way is to understand your options. So there's two ways that you can shop for car insurance, and there's sub ways, but the main two are either digital or verbal. And verbal is calling up an agent, calling up a 1-800 number, calling any place to talk to somebody versus going online and doing it yourself. Let's begin with the benefits of both. So going online and doing it yourself, if you know the coverages you need to carry, I'll link a video at the end that goes over that. But if you understand what coverage you need to have and you know what companies are good digitally, which we'll go over here in a moment, then you can get a little bit better of a deal sometimes. We'll explain that here in a moment. Going through an agent, you're going to get more of that advisor, that advice, the person to talk to later on, and more so fighting claims. When you get into a claim process, it's not just you and the insurance company. Now it's you, an agent in the insurance company, and having that agent that understands the process a little bit better. There is a little bit more of a benefit of going the agent route. By the way, if you are shopping for car insurance, I'll put a link in the description below if you do go that agent model and actually have a digital model as well. You can check out those options and work with somebody that is local that can help you. But starting with the most popular, which is digital, let's just go to whatever.com, Google any insurance near me, and honestly, if you do that, most of the agents are going to show up. But all these Progressive, State Farm, Allstate, pretty much everyone has their digital presence. The thing you want to be a little bit careful of is these shopping policy websites where they give you really good information. They'll teach you about insurance. They'll say get multiple quotes from different places. You put in your zip code. It says, oh, here's some really good rates. It's impossible for them to actually give you numbers and be accurate because they need to know what's your date of birth, what kind of car do you have, what's your accident history, credit score, all of those pieces. There's about 20 different things that they need from you that's going to actually give you that accurate price. On top of it, if you have had a ticket or claim, most of them are going to give you an upfront price without checking that. And then when you go to buy it, that's where the rate goes up, things like that. So knowing that going into it, there's still the benefit of having the digital version where you can go into that world and be successful. Here are some tips going digital. If you go digital, make sure that you have your information, your history, your coverages. I would write down what coverages you want to have. Like I said, I'll link a video that will help you decide those. And then understand what are the discounts for that company for your state, because the discounts can play hundreds of dollars of differences for you specifically. So the first thing I would do is, if I know my coverages, I knew what I'm doing, I'm going to go to their website and look at those discounts. Try to find them. Now, most of the time they're going to ask you some of these questions, but be mindful that are these applying for discounts? So if they're asking, is X, Y, or Z true, then you may or may not need to say yes when you normally would have said no, not thinking that discount would apply to you. And I'm not trying to show you how to scam them. That's not really the thing. They'll verify if it's a big discount, so you'll end up losing it anyways. But for your sake, knowing what discount you can get is going to play a big factor. I do also have a couple videos on this channel that shows you exactly walking through a multiple quotes with different websites, so you can see just the process and the questions that they're commonly going to ask. But it's that simple. You just have to go online, fill out the information, make sure you trust the website, and then at the very end, the part you have to be careful with is if they're not competitive. Some of those companies will say, we're not competitive, but here's 3 other options. Just know that when you choose one of those other options, they're usually selling your data to that company. It's not that company is necessarily even a better option, and that price isn't necessarily even accurate, because now you've got to go through the whole thing on that company's website. Even if it transferred the data over, it's still not going to be accurate, and you're going to get a completely different number. For some reason, they're just giving you a gimmicky, this is another option that might be cheaper because we already know we're not competitive, so here's some things, let's try to sell your information to someone else. Now that same thing can be true for an agent, so let's go the agent route. It's just as simple. You pick up the phone and you dial whatever agency you wanted to dial, and you talk to that agent. So just like you would answer the questions on the internet, the agent's going to ask you those questions as well. Now you're going to notice the path is a little bit different with the agent. If the agent is really understanding what needs you have and understands what the process is, they're going to ask you a few more questions up front. Why are you shopping? What have you found before? What's the main pain point? What is the issues you're having? How can I help? Do you need some education? So they're going to be more nurturing, because their whole reason for being there and selling customers is to maintain the customer. They don't want you for 6 months. They want you for 6 years. And in order to do that, they want to create some sort of a relationship that you can have with them to a point. They're not going to come over and have turkey dinner with you, but they're going to have some sort of at least trust built with you versus knowing that you have other options. Now, the benefit of that is that local agent isn't just one website. They're usually tied to multiple companies. They have the Nationwide, they have the Progressive, some of them have the Allstate, they have AAA, they have a lot of these other companies and even the smaller ones that you can't just get elsewhere. That's the major benefit of going agent-wise versus going online, on top of getting all of that extra service. Most of them will allow you to fill out a form on their website, but most of them are just name, phone number, and then let's get on the phone. They know that talking to you is a better relationship builder, and that's what they're trying to build. They're trying to get the trust, the knowledge, and the experience to you over a phone call. You can come into the office sometimes, but honestly, no one does that anymore. I don't think I've had a client in the last 3 years come into an office. I think I had one. One guy comes in every year to sign some forms. But other than that, it's not normal anymore. Okay, so those are the two ways that you can shop for insurance. Some main things that you should think of is, what are these discounts that we're gonna get? I have a video that can go over it, but I'll go over some of the main things now to give you an idea of what to expect. First thing that an agent or an online is going to ask is, do you want to do auto, home, and renters? One of those three, right? They combine them. Because if you do auto and renters, or home and auto, then you're usually going to get a 20 to 25% discount. A lot of the times, if you're a renter, that'll actually pay for the renter's insurance. So it usually doesn't cost you, if anything. It might even be cheaper to have them combined. So no, that's usually the best discount. On top of that, the renter's insurance, or the liability part, will protect you in a lot of scenarios. So having that is a big benefit. The other discount that a lot of people don't realize is having multiple cars. Now, if you're in a situation where you have multiple drivers, you've got to know that most companies want you to list them or exclude them. But if you can go under the same policy with other people that live with you, that's usually the rule or the guideline, you're going to get another large discount, which is the multi-vehicle discount. I don't necessarily recommend this if you're just going off on your own, because now you're tied to someone. If they have an accident, that comes into your world. You can still separate later, but at the end it's messy, right? You've got to deal with the price going up, you've got to deal with this and that, and then if they get sued, you might get sued because you're on the same policy. Technically, they can go after you, and it's just not worth it most of the time. But if that is the scenario, if you're a younger driver and you want to go on parents, that's usually the cheapest route to go. The third larger discount you're going to see is what's called an affiliate discount. And this can be a slew of things. Most commonly, the best ones is if you're a CPA, if you have usually a law degree, if you have an engineering degree, if you're part of a teachers association. Those are like the main ones that you're going to see that'll give the bigger discounts. Usually 4 to 10% is really what you're going to get there. But if that's not the case, if you're a credit union member, that'll get you a 2 to 4 to 5% discount on that policy just for being a member. Sometimes you'll get a discount for being a homeowner, which they've eliminated that one in most states, so I wouldn't expect that one. Being part of a Harley Davidson club, or a motorcycle club, or a boat club, or a yacht club, any type of membership, it's good to ask the agent, or if you're doing the online quote, is to search for that, because that can give you an additional discount. Attending a 4-year college and being an alumni, that also gives a pretty large discount. Sometimes, if you're 50 or older, just being 50 or older is a large discount. So having those affiliations to those groups and those memberships is going to benefit you going forward when you're shopping for the car insurance. Now, I know the prices have gone crazy over the last few years. If you are trying to understand what companies are going to give you some of the best rates, here's a video that goes over some of the best insurance companies out there. If you still are trying to figure out what coverages you should carry, here's a video that goes over Car Insurance 101 that'll go more into depth on those parts. I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.